Everyone knows about King Togwaggle in Druid and Warrior, but I'm here to convince you that Mage is the class in which you should be waggling your Tog. So the idea is that you're playing Aluneth. With the Aluneth you draw a bunch of cards and you probably hit fatigue. Once you run out of cards in your deck, you play King Togwaggle, you steal their deck, and then at the end of your turn, you draw 3 cards from their deck with the Aluneth. And then at that point they still have the ransom, they can swap the decks back, but even if that happens, you still got 3 cards out of their deck with Aluneth. And then when you're done with the Aluneth, you can just overwrite it with Medivh the Guardian and get Atiesh instead. So that's kind of the thought process going into this deck. Another thing with King Togwaggle is the ransom card is actually a spell, so if you have a counter spell set up, sometimes they just can't switch you back. And then they'll die to fatigue, even though you're the one that drew all the cards out of that deck. Other than that, I did want this to be a control deck, so we're playing a couple 8-drops obviously, Frostlich Jaina, we've got some board clears, but I did want to keep the curve low, because when you play Aluneth you draw a lot of cards, and I don't want to be overdrawing, Frostlich Jaina, or even like the Medivh or whatever. So basically, it's a Togwaggle Aluneth control mage, with a pretty low curve, so we can actually get stuff out of our hand for Aluneth.
Jaina versus Gul'dan. Your soul shall be mine.
You asked for it.
Surely I can find some better early game cards.
Side effects? No. Trust me.
Well, I guess I'll put a damage on that. All I need is Aluneth, I have the other ones. See what I can get off this, I guess. Do I want a Pyroblast in this matchup? Maybe I just want a cheap secret to play with the Valet. Counterspell is actually pretty good against Warlock. Just ping that guy for now. Next turn can be secret plus hero power plus Valet. Really don't want to polymorph that. But I also don't want to take 8 damage from it. So, quite the dilemma here.
An incredible discovery.
I guess I'm just going to blast it with the Valet. Hope I can find the damage to kill it. On board I'm showing 5 to go into it.
Yes. Oh, yes. They'll serve me now.
Alright, looks like I actually can get away with just doing this.
I found it first.
Get to save my polymorph for hopefully a Doomguard. But it's also nice that he doesn't seem to have a convenient way to kill this. Could be a cube, I suppose, which would actually be pretty scary.
Side effects? No. Trust me.
The end is coming.
Wow, that's risky. I can just kill this and then whatever he pulls will die. But I guess if that happens, it means I'm not polymorphing it. I mean, I can still polymorph it, I guess. Just depends on what it is. He's playing Mountain Giant, so there's almost certainly Doomguards in that deck. But I guess he can just hold on to his Doomguards until I don't actually get the chance to polymorph them, so I'll just polymorph that thing. Not the best use of a counterspell in this matchup.
The end is coming.
That does not bother me, guy. Just play a couple secrets. Well, I only got the coin, but that's fine. I think I do need to hold the Medivh to get rid of the Aluneth in this matchup. Alternatively, I could just play Medivh here and then commit to never playing the Aluneth, but I don't think I like that. So I'm just gonna Arcane Intellect. And then looks like I'm playing another counterspell. Alright. Drew a couple cards, made a couple 2/3s, got a counterspell in play. I'm okay with that. Void Lord. So the question is, do I polymorph this? Doomguard is scarier, but this Void Lord is on my board already, and next turn can be N'Zoth or Gul'dan. I'm just gonna polymorph it. I think at this point in the game, he can just wait until he finds the skull. Never give me a chance to polymorph the Doomguards, although now that he's seen both polymorphs, he doesn't even have to do that. Okay. So I can just Frostbolt that thing if I want. There's the Aluneth. Do I want to play it yet? Fuck it, let's go for it. I'm not entirely sure how well this will work. I drew a bunch of cheap stuff, so I should be able to dump my hand next turn, which is good. He got no demons. So do I want to go ahead and Togwaggle here? If I do, I get 3 of his cards, he gets 1 of mine. My deck is not super good. If I can like snatch out some of his Doomguards, that could be pretty nice. Get rid of his N'Zoth would be nice. It also just kind of forces him to spend 5 mana here if he doesn't want me to get that stuff. I'm a little scared of giving him Jaina though, is the thing. So maybe I wait one more turn and keep the cards from my deck. See what I can get off this. Is this thing in play still a counterspell? No, it should be an ice block.
Excuse me, you are on.
Okay, so with a 1-mana counterspell, next turn can actually be Togwaggle counterspell, and then he wouldn't be able to play the Ransom. I mean, obviously he has other spells in his deck that he could check with. But, like, he's played 2 Defiles. There goes a Dark Pact, and even if he has the Dark Pact, he has to, like, have a minion to go with it. So I think I'm just gonna try to play Togwaggle here. Yep, let's just go for it. The only 2 cards left in my deck are not that good. So I think it's fine to give him a Frostbolt or an Arcane Tyrant. Hellfire, Dark Pact, Lackey. The Hellfire and the Pact are 2 things that would have been pretty convenient to trigger the counterspell with. I guess my Frostbolt is also a convenient thing to do it with. There's the Ransom, got it.
Nicely done.
And then I'm gonna overdraw a card here, but I have the Medivh to get rid of the weapon. So I'm hoping that N'Zoth is one of these 5 cards. If one of these is N'Zoth, it's like impossible for me to lose. Okay, well there goes N'Zoth. Why would he play Doomguard there? That's crazy. I can afford to leave Aluneth up for another turn if I really want to. How many cubes have I seen? Just 1, I think.
Time runs out on me.
Alright, let's just try to get rid of his threats.
My hand is too.
I have a little bit of healing, so I should have enough time to play this Medivh. Okay, he had a cube, so I'm glad that I got rid of that Doomguard. So I'm definitely playing Medivh here, because I can't afford to overdraw. I know he has a Frostbolt, so he's showing 10 damage next turn, 11 with the Fatigue. Even if this is a Hellfire, I should be okay. Alright. I think this is fine. He can set me really low here, but I have the Dark Pact, I have the Spellstone, I have the Jaina. Hopefully I can get away with it. It's a faceless, okay.
So kind of you to join me.
Alright, so double fireball hero power here. He's only taking 2 fatigue next turn, so it's not like I have a lethal. He definitely can't win from here. I mean, maybe from his perspective, if I have 0 healing, I only have 15 on the board and he heals up a bit here. But I mean, he should know that I have a Dark Pact and a Spellstone. Although, admittedly, if I was in his position, I probably wouldn't have been paying that much attention. So maybe he's just considering what he can do if I have 0 healing. He's debating between just like hero powering my face and hero powering my Medivh. Or maybe I'm just giving him too much credit and he just turned his phone off and went and did something else.
Do not fear power.
So Jaina on her own should just straight up be good enough.
Wield it.
But just in case he's not convinced, show him some more healing.
Nicely done.
Well,
You win. For now.
Alright, cool. That kind of worked out.
Jaina versus Medivh. Let the games begin.
you asked for it.
Doomsayer's pretty good against what is probably an aggro deck. Double Doomsayer might be a little bit much. What if I just coin hero power so I don't take 2 damage? Seems good. It's probably more like 4 damage, because he would hit me here and then I would play Doomsayer and he'd hit me again. I guess I could have coined Doomsayer and it would have only been 2 damage. But I think I like pinging it and then playing Doomsayer. Yeah, that's kind of a bummer. But he shouldn't be able to put too much power on the board here. I guess if it's a Kirin Tor Mage, he'd be able to deal with the second Doomsayer. But it looks like he couldn't do it, so I'm just going to play a second Doomsayer. Obviously don't want to play the Mana Worm, even though I could have. Is it the second explosive runes? Bummer. But I'll still go for the glyph. See if I can pick up something useful. I'd say drawing cards counts as something useful.
Job done.
What if I just play the Artificer here? I gain 3 armor immediately, it probably soaks some burn, and if he can't burn it out with a Frostbolt or something, then I can get like 6 more armor next turn.
We have many secrets.
So I guess I'm hoping that he doesn't have Secret plus Valet here. That would be his best play, most likely. Okay, Frostbolt. Not too bad. That's pretty bad. I've seen 2 explosive runes, so this is probably a counter spell. Let's see if I can polymorph this. Okay.
Excuse me, you are on fire.
The polymorph was like pretty good if it didn't get counterspelled, but if it was counterspell, which I was expecting, it was like probably the second best card in my hand to get counterspelled. I considered just going for the Volcanic Potion, but sometimes later on they do flood with a bunch of 3 health things, and this could help with it. Plus the Polymorph is just a little bit more awkward to play, especially when I have 2 other removal spells. It's probably another counter spell though. But I can Frostbolt this. If it gets counterspelled, then I just Fireball. If it doesn't get counterspelled, then I just ping it over 2 turns. Yep. And I picked up the Jaina for turn 9, so it seems like I'm probably in a pretty reasonable spot. Firelands Portal, okay. See if I can find an answer to that Mana Worm. This thing's gonna cost 5, right? So way too expensive. I mean, I guess it's fine to play here, right? I just need to hit the Mana Worm once for it to be pretty good. I can also just go Volcanic Potion Hero Power here. Or I can go like Polymorph Hero Power, Volcanic Potion, Hero Power, Mirror Entity. I guess that's probably the best line. He's pretty low on resources. I get to play Jaina next turn into what should be a pretty safe board, especially considering that I have the Mirror Entity if he has like a Cobalt Crystal Runner or something. And I still have an Ice Block up. So I think I'm in a pretty good spot here. What would you not play on 9 mana there? That seems insane to me.
Fear those who wield it.
Maybe he's expecting a counterspell, so didn't want to just throw down a Firelands Portal. But it seems like you'd have something in hand to test for it. Oh, he's a Frost Nova list. Okay, that actually does make some sense. Not happy to see the Aluneth, that's for sure. Let's make another Water Elemental.
Perhaps. Balance in all things.
Okay. I don't get any lifesteal out of that one, but that's a Firelands Portal that didn't hit me in the face. So I think I'm happy with that. Let's just use the Volcanic Potion here. Could have also just bumped in my Water Elemental and then Hero Powered my Water Elemental, but then I end up with just a 3/6 Water Elemental instead of a 3/6 and a 3/4. The Volcanic Potion is pretty good at this point in the game though, since it does 2 damage and then I have the Hero Power to kill off like a Mana Worm or whatever and make another Water Elemental. But I think just immediately having another Water Elemental is probably better. I don't see how he can ever win this game by sending a burn into my minions.
I'm late.
But I don't really know how he could ever win by sending burn into my face right now either. Wow, playing King Togwaggle here seems like a really bad idea. So let's not. I don't have any water elementals here though, so maybe he can just burn me out. I want to say he still has like both valets maybe? And like a Frostbolt, a Firelands Portal, maybe a Pyroblast. I don't know, he might still have a lot of burn.
We have many secrets.
Okay, playing 3 health things here means that I can make Water Elemental. So that's okay with me.
Excuse me, you are on fire.
He's got a lot of power on the board right now, actually. And I don't have any Flame Strikes or anything left. This might actually be pretty bad, but he's gonna start fatiguing really soon, or really fast. So he takes 1 here, his next turn he'll take 2, 3, 4, 5. So I think actually with the Ice Block up, I just can't lose here.
Quickly.
I'm pretty sure he just takes so much fatigue this turn that he dies. He takes 3, 4, 5 at the end of this turn, which is 12, and then 6 at the beginning of his next turn.